There is a profound and undeniable power in the courage of a woman. It's a strength that transcends personal struggles, transcends the individual, and serves as a guiding light for others. In times of difficulty, it's easy to retreat, to cower under the weight of the world, to submit to the circumstances that seem impossible to change. Yet there are those rare individuals, particularly women, whose courage doesn't just stand tall in the face of hardship, but becomes the very force that illuminates the path for others. This courage is not born from an absence of fear, but from the willingness to act despite it. It is a fire that burns not only for the woman herself, but for everyone around her, creating warmth, light, and hope where there was once only darkness. When you look closely, you begin to see that the courage of a woman is not just an individual trait, it is a collective one. This courage becomes a beacon for others to follow. It is a light that pierces the darkness of uncertainty, showing others that there is a way forward, that no obstacle is insurmountable. A woman's courage doesn't merely serve her own needs, it extends outward, weaving a thread that connects her to others in profound and transformative ways. This powerful thread of courage is the heart of a calling woman, which is why we know it is deeply inscribed in so many of its books. It says, "If I can endure, so can you." And in that simple, powerful declaration, countless others are emboldened to face their own challenges. We are all, to some extent, burdened by the weight of the world. The pressures of life often seem insurmountable, whether it is in our personal struggles, societal expectations, or professional endeavors. It is easy to fall into despair, to let the hardships define us, to believe that our path is too dark, our trials too great. But here is the truth. The courage of a woman is the fire that can light the way for us all. And it has the ability to cut through the darkest moments and illuminate the possibility of change, not just for herself, but for everyone who witnesses her strength. Her courage challenges the very idea that we are bound by our circumstances. It whispers, there is another way. And when we listen, we find that it is true. Her courage does not come from arrogance or the belief that she is invincible. It comes from the quiet knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to lead. It is in this humble acceptance of life's difficulties and the refusal to succumb to them that true leadership is born. A woman who possesses this courage does not need to shout from the rooftops about her triumphs. She doesn't need to demand recognition for her strength. Her courage speaks for itself, quietly but powerfully, as it manifests in her actions. It shows itself in the way she faces her struggles with grace, in the way she rises time and again after every fall. Her courage is evident in the people she inspires, in the lives she touches, and in the legacy she creates. Think of the countless women throughout history who have faced unimaginable odds, who have been told that they were not enough, that they were too weak, too small, too fragile to accomplish anything of significance. Yet, despite these limitations imposed upon them by society, they defied expectations and broke through barriers. They pushed forward, not because they were fearless, but because they understood that their courage was not only for themselves. They understood that their courage would inspire others to do the same. In every step they took, in every obstacle they overcame, they became a symbol of possibility for others. They proved that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the strength to move forward in the face of it. It is this very courage that is so transformative. It is contagious. When you witness the courage of someone who has faced down their fears, you begin to feel a flicker of hope ignite within yourself. You begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, you can do the same. A woman's courage is a collective force that moves beyond the individual and into the hearts of others. It speaks to the hidden strength within every person, regardless of gender, race, or background, reminding us that we are capable of far more than we think. This courage builds communities, strengthens bonds, and fosters a shared belief in the power of human resilience. It tells us we are not alone in this. At its core, courage is a choice. It is the decision to take the next step, to continue moving forward even when the way is unclear. It's the ability to say, I will not let fear dictate my path. And this is what makes a woman's courage so powerful. It is a conscious, deliberate act of defiance against the forces that seek to hold her back. It is not something that happens by accident. It is something that she decides each day to embody. And in doing so, she lights the way for others to follow. This is the true gift of courage. It never exists in isolation. It always ripples outward, touching others, encouraging them to rise up and take their own steps toward greatness. A woman's courage teaches us that we are not defined by our setbacks or our fears. Instead, we are defined by our ability to rise above them, to turn our weaknesses into strengths, and to lead others through the very storms we have weathered. That phrase really speaks to me and to everybody. If you are settling for less, you are missing out, because life is full of unexpected obstacles and triumphs, and to lead others through the very storms we have weathered. When she walks her path with courage, she becomes a living example of possibility. She shows us that no matter where we start, no matter how dark the road may seem, we can reach the other side. There is a quote that beautifully encapsulates this idea. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. A woman's courage is like that candle, burning brightly, yet giving of itself to light the way for others. It doesn't diminish her own power, rather it multiplies it. The more courage she shows, the more courage she instills in others. And the more courage others find within themselves, the stronger the community becomes. The fire of her courage spreads, creating a world where no one has to walk alone, where everyone has the opportunity to rise and reach their potential. In closing, we must remember that courage is not just an individual trait, but a collective force. It is the fire that lights the way, not just for the one who possesses it, but for everyone who encounters it. A woman's courage becomes the guiding light that others follow, the spark that ignites the flame of transformation in the hearts of those around her. And in this way, her courage becomes an indelible part of the world, a force that continues to inspire and uplift, lighting the way for generations to come. In the world we live in, there are few forces more potent than the courage of a woman. It is not a courage that demands recognition, nor one that is constantly seeking applause. It is a courage that quietly but relentlessly shapes the world around her. When a woman stands firm in the face of adversity, her courage becomes not only her personal strength, but a force that propels others toward their own greatness. This courage is the spark that ignites the fire of transformation, not just for herself, but for all who are lucky enough to witness it. It is a courage that does not ask for permission, nor does it hesitate in the face of fear. The moment a woman steps into her true power, her courage does not only empower her, it lifts those around her, inspiring them to rise, to push past their limitations, and to redefine what is possible. Her courage becomes a guiding light, cutting through the darkness, offering direction to those who may be lost or uncertain, whispers to them, "If she can stand, so can I." And in that moment, the possibilities become endless. The courage she embodies challenges the very notion of fear itself. Fear becomes the catalyst for growth, for transformation, for a greater sense of purpose. It is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced and overcome. And in overcoming it, the path is illuminated not just for herself, but for everyone who dares to follow her. There's something profoundly moving about watching someone overcome what the world believes to be insurmountable obstacles. We often think of courage as something grand and heroic, a force that is flashy and loud. But in reality, courage is often quieter than that. It's the woman who continues to show up every day, despite the struggles she faces. It's the woman who doesn't give up, even when others doubt her. It's the woman who makes it through the darkest times, and in doing so shows others that it is possible to navigate through their own storms. This kind of courage doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It doesn't demand applause or attention. It simply is. And in its simplicity, it has the power to transform lives. Her courage is not just a personal trait, it is a gift to the world. Like a fire that burns bright and strong, her courage lights the path for others. It is a light that offers guidance to those who are uncertain, to those who are struggling, to those who need direction. It says, there is another way. It shows that while the road may be difficult, it is not impossible. Her courage reminds us that the path we walk does not have to be walked alone. It connects us to one another in ways that are both profound and deeply emotional. When a woman finds the courage to face her own challenges, she becomes a living example of what is possible for others. She creates space for others to rise, to step into their own strength, and to break free from the constraints that hold them back. There is a beautiful and powerful truth in this. When a woman steps forward in courage, she doesn't just step for herself. She steps for every person who has ever felt overlooked, underappreciated, or told they were not enough. When she faces the world with boldness, she becomes a beacon for those who have been told they don't belong, who have been told that they should be quiet or passive. She shows them that their voice matters, that their strength is something to be celebrated. She redefines what it means to be courageous, and in doing so, she expands the possibilities of what can be achieved. She doesn't just challenge the status quo, she redefines it. In those moments of courage, when a woman rises above the noise of doubt and fear, she becomes more than just an individual. She becomes a symbol that speaks not only to the power within her, but to the potential within everyone. She shows that no matter where you start, no matter what obstacles you face, there is always room for growth, for change, and for greatness. This is why her courage is contagious. It is the kind of courage that doesn't just sit idly by. It spreads, it inspires, it calls forth the best in those around her, encouraging them to rise, to act, and to believe in the possibility of their own transformation. Her courage is an invitation, a challenge to others to step beyond their comfort zones, to embrace the unknown, to live with purpose and passion. It is the spark that ignites the fire of change in others. It creates a ripple effect that moves through families, communities, and even entire nations. Her courage is not just an individual achievement, but a collective force that encourages others to tap into their own reservoirs of strength. Think about the women in your life, those who have faced overwhelming adversity, yet have continued to walk forward with grace, determination, and unshakable resolve. Their courage is a silent yet powerful force. It is the woman who holds her family together in the face of hardship, the woman who pursues her dreams despite the challenges in her way, the woman who breaks through barriers because she knows that her success is not just for her own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone who witnesses her triumph. Her courage is the quiet assurance that greatness is within reach for everyone who dares to believe in it. This is the power of courage. It does not exist in isolation. It is a force that pulls others along, that raises them up, and shows them what is possible. When a woman is courageous, she makes it easier for those around her to be courageous too. She sets the example and creates a path for others to follow. And this path is one of strength, perseverance, and endless potential. It is in the quiet moments of courage that real transformation occurs. It is in the small acts of resilience and the refusal to give in to the pressures of the world that a woman's true strength is revealed. And when that strength is revealed, it becomes the guiding light for others. Her courage becomes the spark that ignites the flames of change in the hearts of those who may have thought their dreams were out of reach. And in that spark, they too are empowered to walk the path of courage. When a woman stands with courage, she is not just standing for herself. She is standing for every person who has ever been told they are not enough, who has ever been told their voice does not matter, who has ever been told their dreams are too big. She shows us all that we are capable of more than we think, that we are stronger than we realize, and that no matter the odds, we have the power to break through. Her courage becomes the flame that lights the way, and through her, we are all reminded of the limitless potential within us.